In this draft series so far, picks 1 through 4 have all been rebuilding teams. The Toronto Blue Jays, however, are wrapping up the rebuild and seeing what they need to do in order to contend. With that said, they still have the 5th pick in the draft, and it's still an important one. Now, I discussed draft strategies last time with the Royals, but this time, drafting best available should no doubt be the option they go with. So, who did they choose? Should they go with the contact prodigy in Nick Gonzales? Or should they go with the solid and speedy Garrett Mitchell? But as always, let's get some context on the Blue Jays system before we make the decision. As mentioned earlier, the Blue Jays are in the final stages of their rebuild and thus have a pretty nice farm system because of that. At the MLB level, obviously positional talent is special, possessing talents such as Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Calvin Biggio, and Danny Jansen. Farm system wise, they have some very bright spots too with Jordan Groshans, Alejandro Kirk, Orelvis Martinez, Gabriel Moreno, and Miguel Geraldo. Guerrero, Bichette, and Groshans pretty much solidifies the left side of the infield. Bichette is most definitely going to be their shortstop of their future, and while Vlad could maybe move to first or DH, while Groshans could move to third if that were to happen. The right side of the infield is a little more questionable, with the Jays having Travis Shaw at first, who likely won't be a long-term option. Biggio represents their best option at second, although he may move to various other positions as a utility player. Outfield, questionable, but not horrible. Although Randall Grichuk is signed for a couple of years, he's obviously not going to be the answer for when the Jays reach contention. Lourdes Gurriel and Teoscar Hernandez represent solid corner outfield options, but center field is a bit of a mystery. Anthony Alford could be that guy going forward for the Jays, but has had minimal playing time at the major league level and has even had some questions at AAA. For pitching at the MLB level, Trent Thornton, Ryan Borucki, Anthony Kay, and Sean Reid-Foley are all interesting players to look out for. None of these guys are really high ceiling options, but all could end up being solid rotational presences. They do, however, have a much higher ceiling in the farm system, led by Nate Pearson, Simeon Woods Richardson, Alek Manoah, and Adam Kloffenstein. So with the strength of the Jays pitching system, that leaves us down to 2 positional prospects for the Jays to choose from, starting with Nick Gonzales. Now, I've covered him in the Royals video, so here's a timestamp if you want to skip this section and go to Garrett Mitchell. For those of you who are still here, the main strength that Nick Gonzales provides is in his hitting. Nobody in the draft has better contact skill than Nick Gonzales, hitting .347 his freshman year, followed by a .432 his sophomore year. Before his junior year got cancelled, he was hitting .448, which proves his .400 average wasn't a fluke. Power-wise, Gonzales is alright, hitting 9, 16, and 12 home runs respectively for his 3 seasons at New Mexico. This obviously isn't Torkelson level of power, but puts him over my projected number 2 pick, Austin Martin. When it comes to rate stats, Gonzales fares pretty well too, sporting about a 15% walk rate, which is excellent, and a strikeout rate of 13%, yet another strong mark. Defensively, although Gonzales would likely have struggles at shortstop, it doesn't necessarily mean he would be a bad second baseman. Gonzales works well with his glove, and although he doesn't quite have the arm, at second base it shouldn't be a problem. We move on to Garrett Mitchell, who has a much different frame, being 6'3" and 204 pounds compared to the 5'10" and 190 pounds of Nick Gonzales. Essentially, Garrett Mitchell has a very athletic build and should naturally increase his power output as he grows. Statistics-wise, Garrett Mitchell is more of an average guy over a power guy, hitting .280 his freshman year, followed by .349 and .355 in his sophomore and junior years. He also walked for an about 8% rate throughout his NCAA career, which puts him in the average category. Strikeout-wise, however, he struck out at about 15% rate, which puts him instead in the above-average category. On the base paths, Mitchell is a fast player who stole 75% of his bases in 39 attempts in his entire NCAA career. Defensively, Garrett Mitchell's speed allows him to have a high ceiling in center field. At this point in time, he's only really an average fielder, but he should, with enough development, be even better. He does, however, possess a very strong arm in the outfield, likely coming from his athletic build. Overall, Garrett Mitchell is one of the most toolsy prospects coming out of this draft. So with all of this information, who do I pick? Well, you may be surprised to hear that I am skipping out on Gonzales for 2 straight picks and heading with Garrett Mitchell. Although Gonzales has that fantastic on-base skill, That's not really any different from infielders Bichette, Biggio, and Groshans, who all possess strong on-base skills themselves. Mitchell provides a very balanced game overall, presenting a high-potential player who could be very strong at all 5 tools. Of course, he's not going to be some sort of Mike Trout, but with him already possessing strong speed, arm strength, and on-base skills, Mitchell could present a really good shot at being a great all-around player in the Jays system.